Hi there, it's Sam from Pootles.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today, and thank you for joining me in SpringWatch. This is 14 days worth of video projects coming out to you back to back, and we're in week 2, and I'm having so much fun. I'm really am enjoying myself. And today I'm going to make a card. Now, mostly when I do video tutorials, I do 3D projects, and I have stacks of notes next to me. This is my pile of notes for another project that's coming. But when I'm making cards, I don't often put them in video tutorials, and I don't really work to measurements. I do an awful lot of stuff by eye, and so I kind of wanted to show you my process of making a card. So I'm going to make a variation of this one using washi tape. I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. 2 inks, I do know I'm going to use those, so Mint Macaroon and Melon Mambo. I know I'm going to use some ribbon. I've got 1 stamp set, some Wink of Stella. I've got my card base cut and scored, that is the only bit I've done, and then I've got some DSP and I've got some more cardstock. So I just kind of wanted to show you my process. So aside from the fact that I have got my card blank done, let me just move all of this out of the way, and I've just taken a sheet of A4 and cut it in half and scored it in half. So the same principle with those of you who work with 8.5 by 11, cut your cardstock in half and score it in half. I want to put my mat down, so this is the It's My Party DSP, and I knew I wanted to go with the pink. I actually at first thought I was going to go with that side, but I changed my mind. I do like the pink, and I'm going to make my layer 1/2 centimetre narrower and 1/2 centimetre shorter. So if you like to work in inches, make it 1/4 inch shorter and narrower. So I've got my trimmer out here, and I know what my measurements are in metric because A4 is metric, so and so British card or international standard cards are in metric. So I'm cutting mine down to 10 centimetres by 14.2, but don't worry about the measurements. I've literally just trimmed it down. So I know I'm going to put that on there, and I'm going to stick that down now because I know I don't want to lift it or layer it. As to my panel that's going to go over the front of that, let me just get that down properly. Concentrate. There we go. That's stuck down. I don't really know how wide I want my panel to be, so I've just got my piece of cardstock. I'm going to go with it still being the same length as this bit. So we're going to start there. So I'm going to make it 14.2 centimetres, or 14.3 actually. I kind of want it that wide, which is about, we'll go with 7 centimetres wide. It's really technical, isn't it? Yeah, that looks about right. If I wanted it narrower, I could send it down narrower. Yeah, that's about right. And I think, I don't know where I'm going to offset it, but you know, that's okay. Which one of these shall I go with the pink? Or shall I go with the green? Oh, decisions. We'll go with the pink on this one. And this really is how I work. And I really eyeball stuff, particularly with cards. Although actually I think that might be a bit wide. Well, it's okay. We'll go with it. Washi tape you can peel off and stick it down. Where's my scissors? Trim off. Oops. Bring the card with me too, apparently. And let's see how that's looking. Do you know what? I actually might only do one side. Yes, because then if I do a circle, that's going to be over there. You know what? We're only going to go with one side, but I'm going to elevate it this time. And you know, it's just when you're making cards play, there is no right or wrong to it. There are no rules with card making. It's a piece of paper. If you mess it up, start again. I do lots of layering so that if I mess up one layer, it's not a really big deal. Yeah, I think I'll go with that. That's about right. Okay, so my stamping. So I've got out the You're So Lovely stamp set, which I think is gorgeous. And this circle here is, well, it's lots of little leaves. And let's grab a big block. And so that's why I went with the Mint Macaroon, even though, it is actually the colour that's sort of in the collection anyway. or it's the green that's in that particular suite. Usefully, I managed to forget out the punch I need, so let's try and probably got the back of my head or my ear in camera. So it's the 2.5 inch circle punch is what I want. So we'll go around that. I love the thank you part of it that's in here. So I'm going to stick with the same one. Whoops, oh, I've just thrown that at myself now. And I'm going to bring in the Melon Mambo that I had before. And try and eyeball it into the centre. Obviously I'm looking at it at a slightly different angle to how I would normally, because I'm trying not to stick my head back under the camera, so you don't want to see my ear again. I'll have some dimensionals on this one as well. I'm elevating this one, which I didn't with the first. And the cat's under my desk and she's snoring. Can you hear her? I don't know if you can. Oh, funny little thing. And yeah, just rest it there, and then let's have fun trying to tie a bow. And this is what it's all about. It's just lots of layering, and you know, this is part of the reason I do layering, is that if I mess bits up, it doesn't matter, and I can change that bit out, and I can't even tie a bow when it's not tied around something. Cat's snoring and there's a police car going past. Noisy today here. There we go. That's quite pretty, isn't it? So trim off those bits. I'll stick a mini glue dot behind those. I think I might put that up there this time. So that's kind of my process of card making. I lay it down, I lift it up, I move it around, and actually I think I prefer this one because of the elevation, whereas it was all flat on this one. I actually think I prefer that one, but that's how I do cards. I lay things out, I go by eye, and I move stuff around. And I know that the very last project that I've got for SpringWatch is a layered card, but it's one of my very traditional layered cards. So again, I will be talking you through my process for that. But yeah, still 3 more projects as well as this one. So anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me, and I hope to speak to you soon.